Okay.
Welcome to Omri Unfiltered.
I'm Amala.
I'm Risa.
And today we're going to be unpacking the idea of dating a baddie when you no longer want her to be a baddie anymore.
You hooked her. Now you want her to be a trad wife. So.
That's exactly right. And we're going to be unpacking the stories of Jonah Hill and Keke Palmer. So sometimes you get into a relationship with a woman and you realize she might not be exactly what you want, or at least what she's posting on social media is not exactly what you want.
Even though it's what you wanted when you tried to get her.
It drew you in, didn't it? Okay, let's break down the situation with Jonah Hill. So give us a little bit of background here.
Jonah Hill started dating this surfer named Sarah Brady, and he met her by sliding into her DMs, responding heart eyes, as the men do, to a surfing photo.
In a bikini, correct?
In a bikini, yes.
Okay, so that's what initially got his attention. This was in 2021?
2021, and he is now married, not sure, but his new girl is pregnant.
Okay, so this is very important information. They're no longer together, and disclaimer, none of this relationship stuff, in my opinion and in Reese's opinion, should have ever been posted publicly. You don't air out your dirty laundry in public, especially when you're dealing with celebrities and public figures.
But now that it's out here,
we're going to talk about it.
I love a bit of drama.
You just can't help yourself, can you? And it points out an interesting discussion and probably some of what you guys may be experiencing in your own relationships. And it's important to recognize whether or not this is healthy within a relationship, or this could be a red flag, something that's toxic. So they're dating, right? She is a surfer. She does a little bit of modeling. Jonah becomes uncomfortable with some of the images and videos that she's posting on the internet, particularly surfing videos, pictures of her in bikinis and in bathing suits in general.
Yes.
It seems like he's also upset about a few of her friendships with male surfers and just men in general. Okay.
So he sends her a list.
He calls these boundaries. So let's read through them and see if we agree or disagree. Number 1 is surfing with men. He doesn't want that happening.
I definitely disagree with this because it is a male-dominated activity. Yeah. So I also think it's not something that you're in very close contact with men.
Right.
So I don't think it's strange to be out there.
She should exercise respect in those relationships and place boundaries with those men, but I think surfing with them is okay. Yeah. Next one is boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. And mind you, we don't have the context for these friendships, so we don't know what's going on, but he says they are boundaryless.
I think this is a fair request.
Agreed. We all know how male friendships can be, especially with attractive women. So I think it's fair as a man in a relationship to say, you know what? I want clear boundaries set in the relationship. He's not saying no longer be friends with them. He's just saying, I don't want boundaryless friendships. Next one, to model. He doesn't want that.
She's getting paid and this is part of her income.
And it was part of her income when you met her.
Job.
And you slid into the DMs because of how beautiful she was in one of those shots. A little bit of a red flag. Next one, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit.
Yeah, she's always in a bathing suit. She's a surfer.
Yeah, I don't know if she's supposed to like surf in a hijab or something. I don't know how. What she's supposed to do. Wetsuit, I guess. She could do full body wetsuit.
I feel like every surfer will be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Okay, next one. To post sexual pictures.
This is fair.
Fair.
I think the question is, was she actually posting sexual photos? But I do think that's a fair request to not post provocative photos while you're in a relationship.
Completely agree. The next one says, friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful.
If he doesn't want her to do certain activities, that's probably why he's asking her not to hang out with women who do those activities, such as partying and going out.
It's hard to know without context, right? Because he could be hearkening back to a previous incident that happened within their relationship that we know nothing about. So always keep that in mind. But so far, this list in itself is not the worst thing in the world. And he goes on to say, if you want to do these things and these things bring you happiness, I'm paraphrasing here, of course, that's okay. No hard feelings. This is just not going to be a romantic partnership for me.
Yes.
Which is fair. She also goes on to post other screenshots, though. And the other screenshots get a little bit more concerning the more you read them.
Messy. The list they were all fair requests. And I think when you read that screenshot, I don't think he's coming from an unreasonable place at all.
Right.
When I do read these other messages, I am starting to think that I don't think he is coming from a healthy place, and I honestly think that he's a little bit of a narcissist.
Yeah, so he sends her some screenshots of pictures and presumably videos that she has posted on Instagram, and this is her surfing in a one-piece bathing suit, mind you. Not
And
even
they're
the bikini
far
pic.
away.
Far away videos. So
You-
it's being insinuated that he views these as sexual posts and would like her to take them down. Which in another text message, she says that she's taken down 3.
Yeah, so she seems to have complied with some of his requests, and she's taken down a few photos, and she asked for the video not to be taken down because it's a surfing video. And he responds, "Don't want any photos of you in a thong."
At which the thong in question is a one-piece bathing suit.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of dramatic.
it's a little dramatic. Right. He then goes on in other messages, and this is a separate conversation. We don't know the context here. I love how your therapist thinks I suck. I literally am the best boyfriend on earth. So maybe a little delulu.
That seems a little crazy to say. Once again, she's not showing all of her responses to.
So we don't know. Then her modeling gets called into question.
So he sends a message about her modeling. He says, "Oh, and modeling, which is the last profession I would be with as a partner." She says, "Thought pics." And he says, "But LOL, must be hard feeling so trapped." And then she says, "Well, maybe you should have asked me before what I do before work before you decided to date me. A little late now," which is fair. Like, if you knew that she was a model, then all of a sudden you're like, "I want you to stop modeling. I want you to stop surfing. I want you to stop doing all these things."
Right. It gets a little
you
weird.
could have not been with her.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that is something that a man should talk about before going in deep with, like, officially dating a girl?
Absolutely. I don't know how they didn't scratch the surface of this before getting deep into the relationship. Now, I don't know how long they dated for, and I don't know how long this is into their relationship, but right out of the gate, I think even from going on her Instagram, from surfing her Instagram, no pun intended, he should have known what she was doing for a living and whether or not he was comfortable with it. What really gets to me is not the boundaries that are being set, because you can expect that in a relationship. I myself would respect the boundaries that my boyfriend would set on our relationship, so long as I don't feel it's infringing on who I am as a person. But the hypocrisy is what gets to me, right?
Mm.
You reached out to this girl on Instagram through her photos because you thought she was gorgeous and beautiful, and now you don't want her to do the very thing that drew you in the first place.
Yes.
And that's what he's worried about, I think. He's worried about other men having the same reaction that he had to her photos. It is a little bit. Just a bit.
So this last message, you could look at each part of this text message. You could think that it's perfectly reasonable. But I feel like the tone of the messages seem a little psychotic. Because for one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 messages in a row, which is, to me, is a little crazy to communicate that way. And he says, "I respect your skill and your surfing. I respect how you want to present yourself. And I respect that you're hot and beautiful. And I respect however you want to live. But I also respect myself." And then that sounds fine. And then he says, "So celebrate yourself and your life however you please and shine bright," which to me sounds a little bit sarcastic.
Just a little. Yeah. I mean, to me, at the end of the day, this sounds like two very incompatible people trying to struggle through their own issues to build a relationship that was probably not going to ever work out.
And I wonder how long it took for him to make these requests.
Yeah. And see, this is the issue. I do want to point out the red flags of this girl as well. This is years later after these messages were sent. He is now with another girl, and that girl is pregnant, and that has recently been announced. So why are you posting these text messages right now is another question.
And it sounds like she was using the excuse of, "I'm trying to heal. I want to teach people about narcissists and how to look out for them." You know, everybody's a social justice warrior right now. I still think it should have been private.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I heal, in private. I worry about my own struggles of past relationships and exes in private.
Exactly.
Would she be posting these text messages if they were text messages from a very unknown person,
No.
a non-public figure, somebody who wasn't a Hollywood actor, probably not.
There was an intention to embarrass and humiliate, showing these text messages.
Yeah. And now he's trending. So that's the Jonah Hill situation. But lightning strikes twice, I guess, because Keke Palmer finds herself in a very similar situation, albeit from a different context. I'll give you the background here. Keke Palmer is dating a football player by the name Darius Jackson. And they've been together for quite some time. They do also have a kid together, although they are not married. And Keke Palmer recently went to an Usher concert. Now, during the concert, she posted this. Keke was then serenaded by Usher and was in very close quarters with him, dancing on him a little bit, and she also posted that to Instagram.
Also in the video, she was wearing a revealing outfit. She was wearing a sheer dress, so you can see her behind.
You can see the goods.
So as you can see, while she's dancing around with Usher, he's looking at that.
Yeah. So before we even get into Darius' response, right? If I was a man and I was dating a woman and this is what I saw on the internet, I would not be happy. I think we can both agree with that, right?
Yes, definitely.
But I also know Keke Palmer, and I'm familiar with her work. I'm familiar with her career. This is nothing new.
No.
We can admit that. So Darius apparently sees these videos and pops onto Twitter and tweets out, "It's the outfit though, ... You a mom." Okay, a mother to his child, mind you. And the reaction, I understand. Again, could this have been a private text message?
Yes.
In a private conversation? Yes.
I'd also like to say that I think that's true. You don't want to wear a ton of revealing clothing if your man doesn't want you to, but it's Keke Palmer and she's a celebrity and that's what celebrities do. That's what performers do.
And let's go back to this post that Darius put on his Instagram of Keke literally shaking her ass.
See this right now? Y'all see this? Y'all see this work?
So with both of these moments with Jonah Hill and Darius, it's not necessarily the boundaries that are getting to me in any way, shape, or form. I get them. I think it's a matter of respect. It is the hypocrisy and the fact that these are aired out publicly. Now, it's aired out publicly on the girl's side for Jonah Hill, so he gets to slide on that one. But Darius, no.
They were actually together and he publicly humiliated and dissed his child's mom.
Now, what would you say if he said, well, she publicly humiliated me by posting that video of Usher? You can see it.
I could see it, but if that were true, I don't think the way to solve the conflict is to do the same. It's very petty.
You never stoop as low as what the other person does to you, especially as a man.
And it's one of those things like, do you want to be with this person? So why would you create such a large conflict? And to me, I see that as a very insecure man, which it sounds like we don't know the status of the relationship now, but
yeah, who knows if they're still together after this. I imagine it to be pretty rocky. So he gets a bunch of hate on the internet for calling Keke Palmer out. Some people are saying, how dare you do this publicly? I understand what you're saying. Other people are saying Keke should be able to dress and dance on whoever she wants, and she should be able to post these inappropriate videos with Usher. But he responds back in a tweet and says, "We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase her booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case."
All of that sounds perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he had gotten her pregnant, they're not married.
Yeah.
He's an athlete, so you know that he's out there. He has been out there in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He is not by all means a traditional man. Definitely not a man of morals and standards, but it sounds like he felt humiliated, so he felt the need to humiliate her back.
I think this is a lesson for all involved, right? If you are a woman who is not going to appeal to the traditional mindset, you probably shouldn't get with a man who expects that from you. And if you are a man who wants a traditional woman, why are you going out and dating and impregnating these baddie women who dress, scantily clad on the internet, who shake their butt and expecting them to change? It's very similar to like, oh, I think I can change him. I'm going to date a bad boy who's like constantly in trouble. He's constantly cheating, but I'm going to change them. If you want a traditional woman, find a traditional woman. I think sometimes they like come to their senses and they realize that maybe living traditionally is a better way to live, and then they expect their partner to like pick up the pace and be back on that
for them.
And they don't, because oftentimes people remain very similar to the foundations of who they were when you got in a relationship with them. Again,
so lesson learned, like be with someone that is the way that you want them to be when you get with them.
Yes.
Know what you want.
100%. Now, Keke hasn't really responded at length to what has happened publicly, but she did post this on TikTok.
You ain't stopping what's going on with me, sweetheart. So if you gon' act up, I'm about to link up. If you gon' act up, I'm about to link up. I'm about to link up. I'm about to link up. If you gon' act up, I'm about to link up. Link up. I'm about to link up.
Which probably shows you she's not changing her ways anytime soon. What's really sad about both of these situations, I think, is that there are young kids involved, and hopefully they're not one is still in the womb, right? The other one is a baby, so they're not of the age to like understand what's going on, and hopefully by the time they are, this is long gone and never talked about again. Because I think the priority in both of these instances should be the relationship that you're in, conserving that, and, being in a healthy state of mind. Now, Jonah Hill didn't have any choice, right? This woman just aired out his dirty laundry publicly years later, so he's going to have to deal with that. So what are the lessons here?
I think in both situations, it's important to find somebody that already has your values. But in order to do that, you also have to know your values, and you can't just change them midway through the relationship.
None of that wishy-washy, coming to some sort of revelation and expecting somebody who's always been the way they've been to change. Does that mean we agree with posting sexual stuff on the internet and ogling men? No, neither of us would do that in a relationship. But you should seek that out before you make the baby.
Exactly. And like going back to what you said, it's like they want someone to be this attractive, baddie, sexual person. But then once they're in the relationship, they're like, no, actually, put your clothes on.
Yeah, they see all the stuff on Instagram and they want to just take that for themselves and have it shut off from the public, which was never the case for these women. And especially Keke Palmer, who's had much of her life in the public eye, acting the very same way she's acted in these videos. So I don't see change on the horizon.
No.
For either of these women. But let us know your thoughts. I'm sure there's going to be lots of debate in the comments.
We love hearing your comments. We love hearing your thoughts. Hash it out.
Also, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time we post a video for you guys. Yeah, choose your partners wisely. Don't get in these situations. Bye, guys.